So we're going to do things a little backwards this time. To begin, our new moon is in Scorpio on November 1st. For all of our Caribbean and Latina listeners out there, happy Day of the Dead. I still don't know how to say that in Spanish. The only reason I'm starting backwards is because of this King of Pentacles. So pretty much, Pentacles, as we spoke about in the previous video, is pretty much speaking on wealth, speaking on well-being, everything materialistic. And if you can remember, in October and November we had Pentacles, and I pretty much laid out the idea of simply doing stuff that makes you happy. Don't focus too much on the finances, focus more on your happiness, creating happy memories, creating happy times, doing happy or blissful things for yourself, right? So keep that in mind. We'll circle back to this King of Pentacles, and then we're going to jump right into the details of this new moon. So what does the Ten of Pentacles, a Sun and Moon in Scorpio, have in common? So throughout the entire year, the first half of the year, we were facing our fears, our childhood traumas. By mid-year, we pivoted towards healing and balancing. Right into the end of summer, going into autumn, we started realizing our healing and then moving forward. And right now, it's just kind of like a shock to me to see this Scorpio Sun, Scorpio Moon with the Ten of Pentacles. And the only reason it's shocking is only because, remember about 2 years ago, I was doing all of my videos with the Saturn readings, and then every time the moon was in Capricorn or Saturn was somewhere in the moon and Scorpio was involved, I would always tell you guys that hard work that you did as children, that suffering that you went through as children, that's coming to a close. Allow Saturn to read you, evaluate your situation, and then pass the message along to Jupiter and Uranus so that you can receive your abundant reward for your life's journey. This is what I got, if that makes sense. This is what I got, because the Saturn moon on November 1st, first of all, November 1st is the Day of the Dead, and it's a very magical day. The veil between the living and the dead is pretty much wide open. Anything can happen. And to have the one of the most mystical and magical signs of the zodiac, which is Scorpio, be the holder of the moon's energy for that night is pretty epic. So it's a Friday night. Our two rulers are Venus and Pluto. Venus is the ruler of love, luxuries, abundance, prosperity, and everything material and luxurious, of course. And then Pluto is the ruler and energy of death and transformation, resurrection. If you want to put it in layman terms, when you think of Venus, think of your dreams coming true. And when you think of Pluto, think of a butterfly, if that makes sense. That's pretty much the relationship between Venus and Pluto. And then you have this double Scorpion energy. And I won't lie to you, normally when I read Scorpion energy, it's always tied to like this mysticism that is dark and not friendly. But something about this Scorpion energy is just like, let's all take a deep breath. Like, we did it. We finally did it. Let's take a deep breath and then let's keep going. Let's see where life takes us so that we can keep going. I'm going to jump into the retrogrades before I jump into the candle colors and the stones. Let's talk retrograde. So pretty much we have the same retrogrades going on, which were from the previous 3 to 4 months, are Uranus, Neptune, Chiron, Jupiter, and our most recent one that's being added to our list is Saturn and Mercury. See, this is what I'm talking about. We have a Saturn retrograde that's coming to a close on November 15th. So if all goes well and Saturn reads your life chart, as Saturn should. And we have Mercury and Saturn are in retro. Jupiter now is in retro. So they're all in that same space where they can kind of speak with each other, and they're all in the same motion. Let me see if I can do this as best as I can. We have Neptune with the third eye, Jupiter with your abundance, Saturn with your childhood lessons, Chiron with your childhood experiences, and Mercury with communication. They're all in retrograde, meaning they're all reading backwards. They're looking back at what you've done and then adding it to the present. If all goes well and they read your chart accordingly and they read your chart correctly, then going into this full moon in November, you should be realizing or starting to realize your abundance. I'm going to repeat that one more time. So we have our sight, our third eye, Neptune is retrograde, Jupiter, our pockets, pretty much our prosperity, is in retrograde. Uranus is already in retrograde in Taurus until the beginning of next year. Then we have Saturn, which is the judgment of our childhood experiences and our childhood lessons, which is in retrograde. Mercury, communication, is in retrograde. And then Chiron, which is us, the child, the experience that we had as children, all in retrograde. Meaning, in my personal opinion, retrogrades are normally moving backwards. It's like if they were in their own separate boardroom than the other planets, and they're having a conversation where, because they're in that line of retrograde frequency, they can have a clear connection and clear communication. So no matter what happened to you when you were younger, no matter what happened to you when you were a child, each planet can communicate clearly and understand what's on the table, what's being judged, and what needs to be rectified. It's not giving me anything negative. It's not giving me anything harmful. So I stuck to these colors. I stuck to the rose, the lavender, the green, and matched that with the green aventurine. My reason for doing that, speaking from a space of Saturn and Scorpio, Saturn and Scorpio has always had this relationship, at least in my lifetime, where it was coming into your world with its own previous issues with Scorpio. And therefore, if your life was hard, your life, pardon my French, became a piece of shit. You understand? And in my 40 years of existence, I had to kind of like align my life story the way that it needed to be aligned, just to come to that realization that it wasn't me, it was more the fatherly figure of that energetic Saturn rulership in Scorpio. And there was most likely a whole bunch of crap going on in that Saturn-Scorpio relationship prior to my coming into the world that I kind of walked into. And that caused my childhood to be like hell on wheels in less than, more words than I need to say. So, the beginning of this situation is like, it's a calm Scorpio energy. It's not your typical, you can't see me so I can do whatever I want to do, Scorpio. It's not your typical, well, I really don't give a up about what you say, Scorpio. It's not a try me and you'll F around and find out type of Scorpio. It's more like a chill, I get it now. Like a mature, I get it now type of energy. So that's why I aligned those three candle colors with that aventurine, because pretty much that the aura that I will say I grew up in, where Saturn was strict, Saturn was cruel. Okay? If it's okay to say that. The energy of Saturn was cruel in my life story. It seems like it's coming to a close. Like whatever horrible fatherly relationship that Saturn was sharing with Scorpio, it seemed like that's coming to a close. Not sure what the rest of that future between those two alignments mean for the rest of us who have, that Saturn paternal energy in our Scorpio energy. But for right now, it seems like it's coming to a finalization. It's closing down. And what that tells me is, hey, you little non-Scorpion energetic bodies who had Saturn in your Scorpion birth charts, I think it might be over. I think the torment and torture could possibly be coming to a close. Don't quote me on that. Don't start doing backflips, but I think the torture could be over. And like sitting here doing this and thinking about the hell that was my childhood and what I feel now is two different energies. It's two different things. So that's something, that's something to hold on to. That's something. My Jamaican accent is coming out. That's something to take a grip on. That's something to kind of like let yourself know, hey, I suffered it, I went through it, and it's complete. Now, saying all of that, I think this is where that King of Pentacles kick in. I'm going to read this verbatim. Upright, the King of Pentacles represents wealth, business, leadership, security, discipline, and abundance, right? And also the King of Pentacles is connected to the sign of Taurus. Okay, so just so you can understand how monetary this could be, but it really is not. I don't think it is. I think the reward from the King of Pentacles, especially a Taurus like myself who has an actual Saturn and Scorpio alignment in my birth chart, I would tell you in the past, we are in 2024, so in the past 7 to 10 years, when I've come across large sums of money, it has done nothing for me. Like it's as if like I felt like, okay, I could get this large sum of money, but if I'm still unhappy on the inside, what am I going to do with that outside of trail my unhappiness across the world? Now, rewind that back to what I was sitting here doing that Scorpion reading, and I won't lie to you, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh God, here we go with the Scorpion reading again. And as I'm doing the reading, it's like everything is lifting and everything is coming to a close. It was just like, if this is real, it's appreciated. But if it's not real, I'm not one to hype myself up. So I'm not even going to tell anyone focus on money, go play the lottery or any foolishness like that, because you're just going to lose your money. Okay. What I'm noticing is the signature of happiness. The signature of happiness. That's all I'm noticing. Just for the longest, possibly the majority of your life, you've been unhappy, and this is your chance to be happy. So take that and just sit on that for a little bit. And then we're going to come back and do our full moon and then wrap up our month. And then you guys can let me know what you think in the comments. But it's happiness. I swear to you, it's happiness. So now we're entering our full moon in Taurus on November 15th, 2024. So as I was just pondering on this Scorpion reading, which I am so impressed by, because it was like, whoa, it kind of makes sense now. We have the two opposers, one starting the month in Scorpio, and the opposer of Scorpio is Taurus. However, our connector here is the day of our moon activities, and also our colors, and also our tarot. But let's focus on that full moon. So Taurus naturally is a sign of stability, prosperity. Whenever anyone think of Taurus, they always think of money, right? Now remember I told you prior to fully immersing myself into this reading, when I saw pentacles, I always thought, just like everyone else, money, finances, prosperity, abundance. But something about October focused on happiness. This November reading kind of gives me the full understanding of why happiness is the center of this tarot reading. So the Taurus energy that I've been getting since, like, I would say I started doing these videos back in 2021, and whenever I got to the Taurus reading, it was always heavily burdened, overworked, over-processing energy and information, just over, right? And with this Taurus energy, it feels like I'm finally laying my bags down. I'm finally laying my burden down. It's overwhelming in a way because it's been so much work in the past, and now it's just like, in all honesty, to use my words, there's like a vast feeling of emptiness. And it's not like lonely emptiness, but it's just like, finally, a sense of relief. And this kind of puts everything into perspective when it comes to that happiness conversation that we were having earlier, because the one thing about Taurus and Scorpio is the fact that what makes a Taurus and a Scorpion move is their happiness. When a Taurus and Scorpion is happy, whatever their energy, whatever their aura, whatever they pride themselves in, kind of takes full throttle because they're happy. And for the last, about 5 to 10 years, I can honestly say Taurus and Scorpio have not been happy. They have not been in a space of happiness. And seeing everything laid out this month is kind of like not trying to set anyone up for a grandeur effect to their reality, but it's almost like this could be the start of happiness, if that makes sense. So Friday is a day ruled by Venus, and we have our Taurus ruling our full moon. The moon is exalted in the sign of Taurus. So this full moon is a full moon of abundance. Once again, we're not talking about material, financial abundance. That will come when it's supposed to. We're talking about abundance of self, abundance of happiness, abundance of life experience, abundance of your life journey, in other words, right? So we're going to stick to our colors of rose, lavender, and green, with the green aventurine. Now, here's the meaning behind each color. The color of rose is the color of love. And Friday, ruling both moon activities, is a day of love, a day of Venus, a day of balancing ourselves, right? Then we have our lavender, which is color of releasing, a color of welcoming, peace, prosperity, abundance. It's balancing your crown chakra. It's balancing the totality of who you are. And then green is pretty much the experiencing love, experiencing balance. And then you have your green aventurine stone that kind of puts everything together. Now I'm going to pull the tarot card and show you guys what I'm talking about. So once again, the King of Pentacles naturally rules over the symbol and the sign of Taurus. Taurus naturally is aligned with financial abundance, but nothing stops financial abundance more than when a Taurus is unhappy. What makes a Taurus happy? Stability, security, a life with purpose. And possibly, my Tauruses out there can correct me if I'm wrong, possibly in the past few years or past few months, we've all been experiencing this situation where we're trying our best, but we're not realizing the abundance that comes with trying so hard. And the energy of November pretty much puts the nail where it belongs and tells us, look, yeah, you've been doing your best. You've been fighting. You've been doing your best. You've been pushing so hard that it's unbelievable. But at the end of the day, everything that you've been doing, either you've not allowed yourself to realize the happiness that comes with it, or you're sincerely not happy, if that makes sense. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply put down the idea that money makes you happy and try to define for yourself what happiness means, if that makes sense. Because a lot of us, we tie what we can purchase, what we can have around us as our happy space, but that's not really what happiness is. Put all those fantasies down and then kind of focus on the key thing here. What is happiness? What does that mean to you? And then try to create and align yourself with that ideation. Let's wrap our month up. So here's our month laid out. I use these specific images to kind of give you an idea of what I'm processing. At the top, you'll see the Scorpion new moon. She's laid out, her arms are out as if she's releasing. And then right under there, you'll see the Taurus full moon. And Taurus is just watching the scene just to see what's going to happen. In the center, we have our stones and our candles. And then to the far right is the tarot card. So to break down our month, we have what used to be a tumultuous Scorpion energy that we were all processing. Seems to me that is coming to a close. It seemed like, pardon me, Scorpio is finally reaching that point where all that harshness of life is finally coming to a close. And in my personal opinion, being a bull myself, Bull is kind of looking at the month like, I see it, I see it, but you know me, I don't trust anything. So it could be a calm before a storm. It could be quiet before destruction. So I'm just going to watch it and see what happens. And then right in the middle, we have what we should be aligning ourselves with, no matter what the signs are doing, which would be love, unconditional love, letting go of any anger, hatred, or anything that we used to hold on to, and then allowing ourselves to balance using that green aventurine, and then focusing on our happiness. Don't forget what I said to you. The King of Pentacles is naturally aligned with the Taurus sign, so use that King of Pentacles if you're a bull to actually push yourself forward. If you're a Scorpion, use that energy to actually balance yourself, because I will be so brutally honest with you, there is nothing negative that I'm reading. I'm kind of really nervous because normally in these end of the year readings, it's usually like something is going to happen, but this alignment is like ridiculous. It's literally telling us it's okay, let your burdens down, cry your tears, they're just tears of happiness and joy. Don't hold on to what was going on in the past, but at the same time, don't be a fool either. Like I said, it could be anything from actual closure, or it could be a quiet before a storm. So let's not be, too ambitious about what's really going on. A lot of the times there's things that are going on that we either can't see with our naked eyes or we're not privy to. Don't forget the retrogrades. I'll go over them again. The retrogrades are, as far as I stated before, it's like having a board meeting with like minds. So in other words, to express it in a way that makes sense, while all the other planetary bodies and rulers are direct, you have Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, Chiron, and Saturn and Mercury that are in retrograde. The ongoing retrogrades were Jupiter, Uranus, Neptune, and Chiron, and then the new retrogrades are Saturn starting on that full moon, and then Mercury's coming in on November 26th. What that pretty much pictures out is the communication is between third eye and Mercury, which is Neptune and Mercury. Then the judgment is coming from Saturn, and Jupiter and Uranus are like the rewarding factors of the meeting. And because everyone is in retrograde, everyone is kind of reading everything in a way where even though they could all be speaking backwards, but they're all speaking backwards. You understand? It's not a situation where the individuals that are in the office or in the boardroom that are doing the judging and doing the final decision are partially direct and partially retro. Everyone is retro, and those are all the individuals that are aligned with the with the Saturn and Scorpio situation. And that's the focus I see of November. So let's see what happened. My fingers are not crossed. I do this, but I do understand that changes happen. So my fingers are not crossed. I'm not holding my breath. I understand that the energy of Scorpio is a very chaotic energy, and you get what you get. I have many Scorpions in my life, and I see their lives, and I'm like, it's a you get what you get kind of situation. So don't hold your breath. Don't think, oh my God, did this alignment mean that everything's going to work out at the end? That's why I purposely put stable bull just sitting there watching, just to see what the outcome is really going to be like. And it's very important, as you're listening to this and as you're processing the information, to pay attention to the two signs. You have the mysterious one and the one that's blatantly honest. Tauruses are known for being blatantly honest. So you have those two signs, but the frequency of November is forgiveness, love, and letting go. So we'll see what happens. We'll see. I'm going to take a deep breath real soon.